Hey YouTube, Alex Gordon here. Sorry, I'm just adjusting my phone here. I'll go ahead and show you why. I usually have like an alarm clock or something up here where I can set my phone up against to take some quick videos. But I've since converted this to a Harry Potter display. It's actually a pretty nice display that I've got going on here. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about my Hunger Games replica bow that I made from scratch. But before I get into that, let me walk you through the details of the project. I'm not sure what I was searching online. I don't know if I was directly looking for this. I'm not sure if I had watched the movie recently, or if I just stumbled upon Lancaster Archery, found that they sold what they called a replica of the Hunger Games bow. Found that it wasn't even close, but I found that I did really like the prop. So, let's see here. So I was browsing around on the internet and I found a tutorial where someone had made a bow, and this was the blueprint for their grip. Not bad, not perfect, but not bad. They made it out of wood, the grip at least. The bow they had ordered was a long bow, just like a youth long bow, and when it was all put together it looked really nice, but I need something more accurate than that. Those of you that don't know, I specialize in high-end LED custom sabers, so you know, when I say I want accurate, I really mean I want accurate. So that said, I would have been happy with a 90% or like 85% accurate piece that was semi-functional as a wall hanger. So I started browsing eBay and I came across this. So I went ahead and bought it. By my calculations, from this picture actually, I found that Jennifer Lawrence was... No one will give me a straight answer, you know, all the websites say something different. Some say 5'10", some say 5'8". One interview says 5'7". So I did something in the middle somewhere, like 69 inches tall. I used that for a scale for this picture, and then I did all my measurements on this picture right here. But I had to print it so many times because it kept cutting off the tip of the bow, and that was the most important thing, was, you know, to measure how long the bow was. So I got my scale, measured the bow, multiplied it by the scale, came out with 51 and an eighth inches. So I figured, hey, a 50-inch bow is definitely within the realm of plausibility that that was what they used. So I ordered a 50-inch recurve bow on eBay. Turns out it's only 48 inches long. I don't know anything about archery at this point still. I know a little bit now, but I didn't know anything when I bought this. I figured this was the closest shape I was going to get in a bow that could feasibly somehow be used to replicate the one in the movie. Most of the ones have a huge grip here already, or they're takedown bows, and none of that is what I need for this. So, got this, looked at it, decided I don't really care. It sucks. So, the next night, I figured I had two options. I could get a really big, like 2x12, and jigsaw the piece out and have a really fragile display bow, or I could bend it out of a piece of aluminum. So I figured either way I'm going to need a one-to-one blueprint, and I found this picture right here. It's a really small picture, but that was the only one that was a direct side view of the bow. Took my scale that I knew, referenced it against that, and I came out with this. It took me about 3 hours one night to get all the curves right and everything. That's a 100% accurate bow, once it's bent. Anyone that knows anything about archery will tell you, and I'll show you right now, that what a bow looks like strung and unstrung are two different things. This is what the bow looks like unstrung, you ready? Right there. So you can't really tell if you're ever going to find a bow that's the right shape if this is all that you keep looking at online. So I took that drawing to the shop, the big shop, and I determined that 1 1/8 inches was the optimal width for the bow. It looks amazing too, so I'm really glad I picked that width over, you know, like an inch or even an inch and a quarter. 1 1/8 seems to be exactly it. And I figured a 1/4 inch thick was about right. 3/16 might have been better, but it was either 1/8 or 1/4, and 1/4 was the winner there. And the stock that I picked was actually 2 inches wide, so I had to bandsaw the length of it. And let me tell you what, that was not easy. It was a 2-inch piece of stock, and it took me about a half hour to set up the bandsaw and another half hour to make the cut. So after that, the guys at the shop gave me a few, options. First, I took the scrap that came off of bandsawing this lengthwise, the small piece, and I started bending it over my knee and stuff, and it was looking really good. I just figured I'd have to sand a few of the high spots and low spots. But then someone mentioned, if you heat it with an oxyacetylene torch, it makes it really easy to bend. It doesn't get red like steel does when that's ready to bend, but it will be, nice and easy to bend. So that's what I did, and this is the result. I would call it about 90 to 95% accurate. It's somewhere in that range. To do 100% accurate, I would have had to make up like a pegboard on a piece of sheet steel, welding a bunch of like pegs in the exact shape of the bow, so that when I bent it, it had something to rest up against. This was done totally freehand. There was just something holding the middle of the bow, and then the rest was all freehand. Obviously, one curve at a time, and then this curve, then this one, and then this one. But it came out really, really nice. Again, 90 to 95% accurate, which feasibly that was all I was going to accomplish with aluminum, and I was more excited to have it out of aluminum than I would have been to have it painted out of wood, so I was really happy to go that route. Let's see. While I was still at the shop, I rough shaped the tips. Didn't do anything for the tip for the string slots, and I didn't do this. This was all done in my garage at home. And I also made the grip here out of wood, just like the tutorial, but I also 3D modeled one. So when I'm ready, I can have it 3D printed, and it'll be absolutely perfect. Let's see, this is 51 1/8 wide, or long, exactly. It's just over 1 1/8 long, or wide. I can't talk. It's 1 in the morning, but as soon as I tried to go to sleep, my eyes went wide open. So figured I'd shoot this video now while I had some time to kill. As you can see, it looks the part. It's got the right cutout here. It's got the right mismatch here, the right mismatch in color. As far as I can tell, there's 3 different bows. There's a stunt bow, which you see leaning up against the supply rack in the cornucopia. There is the hero bow, which she picks up off of the rack when she's demonstrating her skills to the game maker and all the other big shots that are up there. And there's like a fiberglass or wood bow for which she's actually shooting. Unfortunately, this is not functional, being that it's made out of aluminum. If I were to fully draw this back, it would probably not rebound into its shape. But I would rather have the accurate wall hanger than a totally inaccurate piece of crap. What else? I actually had to make this grip twice. I pretty much, sawed, chiseled, and then sanded all the contours, and then I decided it was time to drill the hole for the arrow stop here, the arrow rest, I'm sorry. And I was really careful because I knew it's wood, and you got to really be careful with wood or else it'll splinter out the back. Well, right at the end it caught and it splintered out the back, so I had to make it again, and the first thing I did that time was drill a hole. There's only one thing I didn't replicate. I replicated everything to a T. The shape of the tips, the angle this way and this way, of the string notches. Everything I replicated, except for the filled-in holes that you can see in 4 spots on the handle here. That's where they would obviously use the screws to hold the handle in. I also had this plaque made, which I'm going to send to hopefully be signed. I'm hoping it's a legitimate thing. There's supposedly a P.O. box where you can send stuff to get signed, so more on that as it develops. But I really was so happy the way that this turned out that I went ahead and ordered the Hoyt Buffalo that was used. That's the same type of bow that was used in Catching Fire. So I'll talk about that for a minute here to give some preliminary thoughts before it arrives. I know there's not many videos about these particular bows for some reason. I don't know if prop makers just don't care when it's a heroine, you know, that is the main character, or if I'm really the only one that enjoyed these movies. I'm not sure, but it seems that there's a lack of these bows around, so I figured the more I talk about it, the better, to an extent. Anyway, the Hoyt Buffalo it cost me $700, and I got the brand new 2014 edition that comes with a silver riser and black limbs. Now that's great for 99% of people out there. Hey, that's exactly the same bow that was used in the movie, except it's not. The one that was used in the movie was modified for her with 20-pound limbs, and as near as I can tell, the silver riser has black on the front of it, and it may be carbon fiber. I haven't been able to tell so far. And it had limbs that were painted silver, and then they had a carbon fiber vinyl or tape applied to the front and back. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do to mine pretty much as soon as I get it, except there's one more thing, and this might have to force me to wait until the Blu-ray comes out. Right where the riser attaches to the limb, it's about 4 times as thick as it is on the normal bow. So I'm not sure if they put something on the front of the limb to cover the screw holes, if they put something on the back of the limb just to push it out and make it easier for her to pull. Either way, I'm going to have to figure out what they did, and once I do, I'll make up a piece, you know, stick it in there, and you know, hopefully it'll be accurate the way I want it to be. I do plan on having some quivers and arrows made. I know what arrows they use in Catching Fire, but I don't know what tips they use because no such broadhead tips exist for those arrows, and I don't know what fletching they use. I'm gonna have to look into that as well. There's also things you have to know, like what type of arrow, because it's an Easton X7 Eclipse arrow, but there's like 20 different types. I don't know what all the numbers mean at this point. Hopefully I'll, you know, learn all that stuff fairly quickly, but there's like a 4-number code that goes with each type of arrow. For example, one of them is 2512. I don't know what that means. Hopefully I will find out very shortly, but I was going to order some arrows because those are the arrows, and then just, you know, replace the tips later on. I don't care if they're real tips. I'm happy with plastic tips that are painted, just so long as I can swap them out for real tips if I want to take it outside and actually shoot it. Because if I'm spending $700 on a bow and then modifying it, I do want to be able to shoot it. This cost me all in all about $20 because I used a piece of scrap aluminum, a piece of scrap wood, a piece of wire. I don't even know what I spent money on. I spent money on the other bow, and I spent money on the black. That's it. But, oh yeah, according to my measurements, she used a 58-inch or slightly smaller Hoyt Buffalo. So I ordered the 58-inch one. Hers may have been slightly shorter because they did custom limbs for her, so I can't guarantee that's what it is, but the measurement I got, she was standing sort of like this, so it wasn't a perfect measurement, but it came out to 56.5 inches. So I'm going to assume that I wasn't off by 4 inches, you know, just because she's standing this way instead of this way. So I figured 58 is a fair bet. I ordered it in 50-pound draw. I figured, what the heck, if I want to actually use it, I might as well make it something that is usable. And I have found a supplier for carbon fiber vinyl. I just need to make sure that they can give it to me with the right line pattern. this is where you get into all the crazy stuff when you're building a prop. You have to make sure that all the details are right, down to the diagonal pattern on the carbon fiber matching, because if it winds up this way on my bow and it's this way in the movie, I'll be pretty upset. So anyway, hopefully I didn't ramble on too much, but all you Hunger Games fans out there, please feel free to comment and you know, look for my upcoming vids with the second movie bow. I'll have those hopefully very soon, and I did order a second plaque, or I'm in the process of ordering it right now for the Catching Fire bow. I'm going to send them both at the same time. I'm going to send pictures of me with the bow so that, you know, they can see it was a cool project that I put together. Only took me like 2 days worth of shop time. It wasn't even full days, it was like 5 hours each day. So it was pretty cool. A lot of labor involved with the hand sanding to make sure the lines all went away, and then keep the brushed look and painting and all this stuff. But the end result was really very cool. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will talk to you later.